So Jono, how are you?
Yeah, all good, thank you.
Good, good. How do you look back on your own season so far from a personal perspective?
Yeah, I think it's been a good one actually. Obviously, I'm first and foremost, I'm glad that I've played as many games as I have. I was obviously unfortunate to miss out a few games with injury, and coming back was a bit of a tough period. But getting back into the rhythm of games now, I feel like I'm back at my best and doing all right. Yeah.
As your career has progressed, how has your mindset towards football changed? You know, as you got older, you're 28 now, of course.
Yeah. So obviously, when you're young and you're coming into it, sometimes you're a bit naive into thinking what it takes to be a professional footballer and the day in day out routine of what it takes. But obviously, like, I've been in it a fair few years now, so yeah, I know like what the expectations are, like what it takes to look after yourself and the things away from football. Really, what it's good to have a bit of a balance. You know, obviously with friends and family, sometimes you need that disconnect to make sure that you're fully focused when you come into work every day. And I think I've got a good balance with that. Obviously, being successful in the last few years with promotion, it's really ignited a fire to carry that on. And yeah, as I said, we were in a great position to do that this year. So hopefully we can.
It's interesting you mentioned that balance. Say when you get home after a game, will you watch it back quickly, or will you wait a few days or hours to process it?
It varies, I think. I think sometimes, yeah, I think there'll be times where I really want to get stuck into it and really delve and dissect what happened on the weekend, or there'll be times where necessarily it'll take a few days and it'll be back in when we come on Monday and we can look through it with the squad and the gaffer. I think that, yeah, it varies really. It kind of depends on the game and how it flowed really.
It's crazy to look back. You were once Stevenage's youngest ever player to make a debut in the Football League. How did that feel at the time? It must have been a mad feeling.
Yeah. It was a great feeling, to be fair. I remember that game vividly. I don't think I'll ever forget it really. Brentford were going up to the champ, so it was a crazy atmosphere. Yeah, not a bad debut, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then to go from one end of the scale to the other, you actually had trials with Spurs and also Manchester United. What were those experiences like?
Yeah, obviously, really good experiences. Obviously, I was really young when that happened. I think I was coming into 17, 18 when that happened. So it was a time of you with players that are obviously at top clubs, and there you see their career, how they've gone on, and sometimes they haven't gone on, and it's just a path of football really. But obviously, them experience were top to be around facilities like that and clubs with that kind of stature.
You really progressed your career in non-league. What would you say is the most important thing you learnt during that period?
Non-league's relentless. You know, you've got to keep going multiple times a week. You know, the schedule's pretty crazy. I was fortunate to be in successful teams, so it was always a positive experience for me. But as I said, being young and playing games in non-league, it can be quite ruthless. So you create that steel, you create that drive, you know, to one, progress into the higher leagues, but also knowing and understanding the physical aspect of the game.
Obviously, when towards the end of your time in non-league, you played against Joe Lewis, who's obviously a good friend of yours now and defensive partner.
Yeah.
How's your understanding kind of grown with him? Because obviously you started in the back two last season, now you're in that back three. Has it grown stronger?
Yeah, definitely. You know, that obviously it's no secret how well me and Joe get on, and now within a back three. Yeah, it does differ, but I wouldn't say too much. You know, there's still an understanding of like positionally where we need to be, and a case of like who needs to cover who, or where we need to improve or where we need to work on. I think it's always a case of me and Joe are quite in sync really. With so things will happen in the game that we don't really need to say anything to each other. It just happens, so which is quite a nice thing actually.
And then you've taken on the role of vice captain this season. What's that been like when you've been required to take the armband for games? I mean, obviously recently with Revo not playing.
Yeah. Regarding the actual role of vice captain, I think it's just a case of my qualities and who I am as a person. I think it kind of helps with the team, but with wearing the armband or not, I kind of think I try and do the same role. It's a privilege, but when Skip's in there, he does a great job of obviously being the captain, and I just try and mirror it and help out the team as much as I can.
Is it difficult sometimes? Say if you're going through a difficult moment and you need to compose yourself before you compose others, is that quite hard sometimes?
I think one of the good things about me is I'm quite a relaxed character anyway. You know, I'm quite chilled. I'm quite laid back. So I think them kind of characters and characteristics kind of help a team. You know, if we're going through a bit of a sticky patch and and the game's quite intense and things might not be going our way, I like to think I'll remain calm. And you can see that like kind of spread out onto the pitch sometimes, and I think that's massively important. We need to stay calm on the pitch regardless of what's going on. So yeah, I think that helps.
I think it's clear that you've got a strong understanding and respect for this club. Like, what does it mean to you, if you can put it into words?
Yeah, ever since I've joined this club, I've said multiple times, helping out outside of off the pitch and helping on the pitch has been a real privilege, and playing for this club means a lot to us, and it's not just me, it's the whole team. Like we have laser focus for achieving what this club deserve, and yeah, it's a real honour to play for them.
What would you say are the best qualities of this squad that gives you the belief that we can achieve the objective that we want to?
Well, putting aside their playing ability, because I think we have a great squad this year, and I really do. I think the lads are good lads. The togetherness I don't think I've really seen as quite strong. And I think that's really helped us, as I just spoke about there, in like difficult times. We've really bit down on the gum shield and stuck together, and I think that's going to be vitally important going into these last 2 games. But yeah, obviously with the playing aspect on the side, like I think we have bundles of quality, and obviously we've seen clips of that here and away. So I think that's one of the main things.
And then just lastly, we're obviously 5th in the league going into the last couple of games. Is there a message you want to give to our fans?
Yeah, to be honest, I'd just say, like as I said, just stick with us. Like we've still got a lot of games to play. There's 2 massive games to go, and a lot of football to be played within them 2 games. I think we are laser focused, the team and I, on the goal that we wanted to set out at the start of the season, and we can still achieve that goal. So it's a case of giving this club what they deserve, and hopefully we can do that if we all come together as one and stick together.
Brilliant, thanks Sean.
No worries.